Hey folks, welcome back to Sunset Falls. We're going to continue working on our Brewer's Landing area over here. And I really want to keep focusing also on our rail transportation. I know we have a few things we want to clean up, one of which I noticed we have these, they're not the world's most beautiful on-ramps, but we do have some on-ramps over here. And then we also have some on-ramps over here. And I'm debating whether or not we want to actually have two lanes coming off each of these or not. But honestly, right now, I think we're just going to leave it alone. I did notice that we do not have any way to actually get off of the highway if you're coming this direction. So let's go in and add that really quickly. I'm just going to take one of my single lane highways. Let's see the nearest node that we can kind of start separating off. We want to curve around this way. We're probably going to have to go. Actually, let's just start maybe right there. Turn off some of our snapping tools. Really? And then we can start curving away. Curve up here. And then we can kind of curve right down there and then just reverse that. Boom. Awesome. And then it's a little bit of a weird slope there. I wonder what we can do about that. Let's see if we can just slope those a little bit, and we may want to go into node controller 2 and make sure that those nodes are sloping. Grab that one, slope that one, slope this one. That might help a little bit. It's a weird little bridge section. I might actually see if we can upgrade that and specifically force it down like that. I think that looks a little bit better. Makes a little bit more logical sense. And then we'll go in and add our markings right here. Technically, this should be a 4-lane going in here. Actually, it wouldn't be that hard for us to adjust that. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's give it 1 4-lane. We'll upgrade just this spot here. And that'll give us that exclusive right exit lane right here. So let's go ahead and do the markings on both of these spaces. Okay, so it looks like we don't have a 4 to 3 with an on-ramp. So let's go ahead and start making that, and then we can save that as a template. Now let's just line up the corners of this node so that we don't have to worry about it kind of sneaking off here. There we go. I think that looks a little bit nicer. Now we're just going to go ahead and line up our actual markings and then save this as a preset. Okay, so we have our off-ramp, we have our on-ramp. Again, is this the most beautiful thing we've ever crafted? No. Is it going to work for now until we have a better sense of the traffic flow through this space? I certainly hope so. One thing we might want to do too here is just take this. Let's see if we can kind of square it off a little bit. There we go. And then just stretch this back a little bit. Stretch this whole section. Just kind of make this a slightly bigger box here. Give people a little bit more space to turn. There we go. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. And what do our roads look like here in this junction? Let's just give that yield. I think we're good to go. Awesome. Actually, here, let's check the other side too. Put a yield on that side. Okay, so let's get back to our neighborhood here and our trains. So one thing I did adjust here a little bit off camera was I just kind of made this curve mimic this little key area. It's not even really a key. It looks like just kind of an older space here. Kind of mimic this a little bit more. You can kind of see where this train is coming down. Well, first of all, let's let it move up onto that bridge because we're about to take care of some of this. What I realized I wanted to be able to do was see if we could sneak another station in here close enough to this bridge that we'd be able to potentially split off another train going this way on a separate line. So I was looking at a few of our train options that are elevated and thinking that we might actually just want to keep this whole segment elevated through here. So I just went to all of that work to get this to work properly, but let's actually just pull that back and maybe we can do an elevated approach instead. So one thing I'd like to see if we can do is, first of all, let's just place the station down somewhere. And I think we were using roughly 10, or no, this is a 12 by 12 square, I'm pretty sure. Let's double check really quickly. Whoops, we're not upgrading. Let's just kind of go out here. Yeah, that looks like 12 by 12. So let's try out a 12 by 12 grid on this side and see what we net out at. We're going to have some conversations around what this is doing. We're just going to leave that for another day. So let's go 12 out here. Let's go 12 over. Okay. 12 over. 12 over. And again, this is kind of where we're going to start blending our Old Town and some probably non-conventional grid structure there, or not even really grid structure, road structure there, into our more formal planned spacing of more of our government center over here. So I just threw a few of those on there to kind of get a sense of how this is going to go, right? So let's go, actually one more out. Go up here. There we go. So this nice little just kind of 6x6 or 8x8 because I know how to count. And let's see where we could potentially fit in. I think an elevated with a bypass. And so this, I know actually doesn't show us every single option, right? There's also our transit hubs here. And then also our content creator pack. So we kind of want to keep everything in mind. Let's filter just by train here. So you can actually see if we filter by train, there's a ground bypass, ground platform, ground island, one elevated bypass train station. Let's take a look at what this looks like. I'm just going to set it right over here so we can just kind of take a look here. So we got that one. We have the elevated dual. I think let's do the elevated island. Just kind of see what that looks like. And again, we're going to move all these around, so not a big deal. So both of these look pretty fancy. They both have these really nice parking lots that I really like. And then we have one more option if we go back to just the trains. And let's see, I think this is an elevated bypass station. Do we have any other elevated? It's elevated single island, elevated dual island, so elevated bypass. Let's just kind of throw this down here. Oh, this doesn't apparently need to be connected to anything. It's free to do what it wants. City station, I think this is elevated. I could be mistaken. Let's see what it looks like. No, that is not elevated. It doesn't appear to be. So let's get rid of that. Like a bit of a delay in my my excavator button there. Not sure what's going on. This is a French elevated station. I don't think that's going to quite fit the vibe here. A bunch of funicular stuff, which we will get back to later. A futuristic train metro station, which sounds cool, but probably doesn't fit this space. A lot of ground stations. Kansas City Union Station. This, I actually think, would be a really interesting asset to use somewhere, especially in our old town. But if you look at it, it's pretty freaking massive, right? We don't need all those train lines. So I don't think this is going to be the right place for this structure today. We're going to try to find a place for it somewhere at some point, though, because I really do like it a lot. A few other options are, again, kind of this smaller depot station. This one, actually, I really like. I think it would look great in more of a rural community. It's super simple, but again, not elevated. So let's get rid of that. Throw down one or two more elevated options just to make sure we're not missing anything. So this is an elevated option. It's more of kind of a New York City option. It kind of looks like that too. You can kind of see it's a little, oh, I really like that stained glass on the side. That is a really neat touch. But it's designed to go over the street, right? So this is definitely a good option if we potentially wanted to put something right back there. So I'm just going to leave that one up there. And let's see if there are any other elevated options that we have. I don't think so. Those are all sunken. Kansas City Freight House. Let's take a look at that. I don't think that one's going to be raised either. And then just freight terminal and cargo station. Yeah. Okay. So what we found are also just some really good options for, I think, some of our rural areas, especially some of our connectivity areas where, like, coming through here, like we have this great freight train coming through here. These are all raised roads, or raised tracks rather, but potentially like somewhere down here, if we wanted to have a small station serving like a small, potentially like a farming industry in this space, that would definitely be one option we have here, right? So something to keep in mind. I think, however, I had no idea where we were for today. I'm going to look at them this way because that's probably the side we're going to be putting them on across the street there. I mean, I really like this one. I think it leaves just the right amount of space. This one seems a little bit more futuristic to me, but it's also a little bit large, I think, to serve the size of this community. I also like this one as well, and I like that it has the road underneath it. But again, it feels like a little bit too modern to be in this space. And this one I like, but it actually feels like the station isn't really as substantive, right? This is more so just like a quick stop on a track. So I think we want to go with this elevated bypass train station. It has exactly the bypass we're looking for. And I think the bypass is super important with this station specifically because we're going to be bringing cargo traffic down through the same line, remember? So we want to make sure that our cargo traffic can totally bypass any sort of passenger station needs here, so that we're not kind of, messing everything up. So let's see if we just try to drop that over on this road. What does that look like if we kind of hide it in the trees right here? That to me looks really great. The question is going to be, can we actually make this turn? So let's see. Actually, I'm going to go back out to here and see. I mean, it looks like we'll be able to make this. The question is actually here. Let's come out of here. Does it show how... Oh, whoops, hold up. That would have been bad. Now we can go. All right, so it's about 12 meters out. And this one is 21 meters. So it's going to actually have to start to decline coming out here. See if we can line up here roughly. And then we need to come through here. All right, that's 18. Goes down to 12. Let's see what that looks like. Not too bad. I think we could definitely slope all of that out and make that totally doable. So let's just grab all of our nodes here. And then do a little gentle slope. Beautiful. All right, cool. So I think that looks really good. We're just going to set a few of the trains that we're okay having on here. I downloaded a few new train assets, both commercial and passenger. So hopefully we have a few options there. You can kind of see how it just comes right through here. Again, this is only one train line so far. I don't think we're going to run into huge issues here. So let's see how we get across now. I think this is something where we can either bring it down or we can potentially just kind of have it go totally continuing up and around. And I actually kind of like the idea of, again, kind of mirroring this just little body of water here. See if we can actually go with maybe a gentler curve here, down here, and then we got to kind of curve up. Let's see if we can get a really nice connection here. Actually, it looks like it's just about perfect. Okay, so only problem is we just have a few trees in the way. Let's see if we can go in and grab those. Just get them a little bit off the tracks. Sorry, guys. Just scooching you out of the way here. All right. I think that looks pretty solid. Let's see if our train line has magically reconnected itself. I'm hoping that it will have, but you never know. Okay, let's see if our train line has reconnected here. Looks like it has, so we are good to go. All right, I'm going to unpause the game briefly, and I'm going to try to leave the game a little bit more paused, right? So that we can enjoy this single van using this, where they're delivering goods to our factory. Awesome. Power output here, but it's also considered a, what does it say? High commercial building, I think. And realistic population is setting a ton of jobs in here. So that is, again, something I'm playing with here is our realistic population. You can see it's kind of containing a bunch of different buildings here and a bunch of different workers at each of these buildings. And you can see that that's actually kind of a challenge for it to get enough workers in this building. So definitely something to keep in mind. And the reason that we are going to have to start putting, I'm going to pause it again. Ooh, hey, look at that. That is cool. I told you I downloaded a few new trains, and now we even have a few new, whoops, let's see if we can get a glimpse between the trees here. That is nifty. How many people are actually riding this train? That's the $1 million question. 0. Okay. You know what, though? That's okay. We are, we're paying for class, and you can't put a price on that. It's a very classy looking train right there. I may question how many riders we actually have there. All right, so we're getting to 2 or 3 riders. So, not the end of the world. We have 1 rider on that train. We're getting there. Again, right now, keep in mind, we're only serving that one small community. We actually don't have the ability for riders to actually get around the city in the areas where we actually have people. So I'm not super surprised by that. One thing I would like to think about over here is how we want to do this. And I'm actually wondering if we want to put one more train station in around Brewer's Landing here. I'm not exactly not sure what that would look like, but I do think it could make sense to have a small cargo station here. And let me see, cargo train terminal, to potentially put something like this here. And I think we'd actually pull a bypass line out so that we could actually maybe kind of like right around here. I'm actually thinking, what if we move this power somewhere else? Let's get rid of this fencing, first of all. I know kind of what we were going for. I think we'll leave the fencing on the road, but maybe fix this up a little bit. Let's actually move this over to this side. I think we want it to specifically face this way. Actually, what I think we should do is we'll leave it over there for the second. Let's go back, get our smaller roads here. Just kind of our 2-lane. I think that's what we're using here. Let's actually find out for sure. Let's actually just pull a straight line out here and see if we can put it right next to the ocean. That's actually a little bit too far away, I think. We're going to run out of space there. So let's get a little bit closer in than we normally would put something, right? Normally this would be a bit of a tight squeeze, but I think that's okay. We're actually going to move this back here. So now we have that back here. This theoretically would be, quite gated in terms of not wanting anyone to kind of get into our main energy production. And is this actually going to be enough to get around the rest of the town? No, it is not. So let's put the power lines in right there, connect that up here, and then I'll just put kind of a few right along here to make sure that those are connected. All right, so we have no loss of power service. Just running it for a second to see. I'm sure we'll be in a good spot there. Pull this back there. And now let's see how we could potentially fit a train in here. Because I do think it makes sense to have some sort of cargo service to our technical industry area there, right? And the other thing too, and this is something that I really kind of keep in mind, is that theoretically this used to be an industrial space. And so we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but it's not a bad thing for this to feel like an industrial space. So I think we know that it's going to be loud. I think I'm actually going to put that right here. And we'll see if we can kind of work this up and over. I think we'll be able to make this work. If we can't, we might actually just bring it. Actually, here, let's just do that now. I'm actually going to pull this back, pull this road back a little bit, as well as that road. And then let's actually place our cargo terminal on the other side. So I think if we maybe come out this way instead. It's okay, we're going to break our fence, but we kind of knew that. And then bring this in right there, do something like that. Now there we go. This feels a lot better to me. And it's okay that the line just kind of ends there. I don't really care too much about that. We're not going to have anything going that way anyways. So now, how could we potentially connect this up? We need to get up at least 6 meters. I don't know why it keeps forcing the elevation down like that. We'll find out one of these days, I'm sure. And then kind of connect just like that. So now we kind of have this gentle bypass option for any sort of cargo traffic here. All right. And I think, in my mind, I kind of like that because it feels like this is space that would have been served by some form of cargo hub, right? So now it's mostly just kind of this factory that's using it. I'm going to pull it back a little bit so we're not impacting the shoreline quite as much. But now it makes sense that kind of this factory is here to be able to use it. I do think that we'll want to plant some extra kind of extra, I don't know why I'm saying extra. We're going to want to do some kind of thick vegetation right here, just so it's not kind of getting in the way as much. Do we have anything other than this fall foliage brush? Let's do a new brush. Let's say maybe this. Let's kind of throw some good stuff in here. This looks kind of interesting. And then let's pull down the size, pull down the strength, and kind of, all right, well, maybe up the strength a little bit here. This is going to look very out of place. That already looks incredibly hideous. All right, let's pull it back. Let's instead, I think, just grab a few of these. And let's actually find this tree, wherever it may be. Prop line tool here. Let's just get kind of a nice row of these going right there. And we'll actually do a second row right along here. There we go. So now we have at least a little bit of tree coverage. And actually, while we're here doing that, let's do it one more time. I think we're going to use our prop line tool again and try to get, maybe back off from the road a little bit, try to get kind of a nice row here to just kind of protect this space from the highway a little bit. I think we'll do kind of an alternating row here. Oops. There we go. Okay. One more. Oops. It's gonna get too crazy too fast. All right. So we'll see. This looks a little bit kind of bright and colorful to me. We'll see if it actually gets any use. But I think in kind of my mind, it's bringing different levels of freight or different materials back down to this space. And we're actually going to bring this up and over this way as well. So now I kind of have a few different connection points here. And we can actually go back in here, find our, we have a find it update. Awesome. Love it. Find a few more buildings here that we can fit in this space. I have to stop typing when I have that set up there. So maybe something along here. Actually, kind of mirror it a little bit here. So, actually, I think that could look kind of cool over here. So let's get rid of one of those. See if we can get this guy in here. Wait, that's not going to quite fit. Need something small. It's facing the wrong direction. Maybe we could just kind of set it down there. And then, oh, I see. It's just going to look like that regardless. Okay, let's move this one over. There. Let's get this tree out of the way a little bit and move this in here. We're just going to kind of tighten it up right there. I'm not going to be able to tell how that looks, or that the fact that it's not perfectly even after I zoom away from this area. So I'm kind of okay with things that like match up close enough, right? That's kind of what I'm aiming for when I'm building, is can we get close enough? Let's move this actually down here, right to the end. That's a little bit too close. Maybe kind of angle it like that a little bit. There we go. Kind of pull it right back off there. And then we'll actually leave that as an independent building, I think. It's a little smokestack there, kind of like that. And then let's add just kind of a few more along the side here. Do this one kind of right next to each other. And then we'll use move it and just pop them in place here. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. Will it let us flip them sideways and not get upset with us? Let's find out, because I feel like this is just a much more visually interesting side to have. And then kind of put something right at the end here. See, this looks awesome on multiple sides. So we'll take this one, also rotate it, and just slap it on the end here. There we go. And let's take all three of these and make them kind of an independent building right there. All right, cool. So I know this is a lot of jobs here. We're gonna have to figure out if the city can sustain them. Maybe the case that that's actually not possible this second, but that's okay. We'll get there. I'm just kind of moving the trees a little bit to something that makes a little bit more sense. You, my friend, need some water. You're in this kind of perfect little zone here where you don't have any water. That's unfortunate. There we go. Bring some water through there and you should be all set. Not enough water still, huh? I'm pretty sure you should be covered at this point. Oh, there's no water actually flowing through that pipe, huh? That's a little bit odd. I'm not sure why that is. Let's connect this up right there instead. I'd have to speed this up just a little bit. There we go. Now you're all set. And you have water as well. Awesome. Okay. So we have our little kind of spur off here for our cargo station. Don't really see any cargo come in, but we'll get there. So let's pull water. Oh, good. We also have water up here. Come along here, bring water to this community. Perfect. So we should have water right there. And then we will have to worry about power, but in just a little bit. Oh man, I just love the way that new steam train looks there. One thing I am wondering is if we really want to have this cut directly through the community. I think we can make this work pretty well. I'm not 100% sure how it's going to look yet, but I kind of like how the concept is working so far. So let's do something a little bit different here. So one thing I would like to do is kind of bring a road out here. Maybe we'll go a full 10. So now you can theoretically drive through. Ooh, doesn't quite line up there. Let's see. Is it possible to line something? Ooh, the police were just like, no. I think you can connect this up somehow, but it's looking like it's not going to play ball here. So maybe there's a better way to do this. All right, I'm gonna have to go figure that out. Oh, and it's about to get dark on us. No, thank you. Okay, but what I would like to do conceptually is kind of come out here. We're just gonna leave it for now. I'll figure out how to fix it. But kind of come out this way, and I'm gonna do it one more time because I want to actually measure it. And we'll actually use the regular road here. We'll come out maybe 5 or 6. 6 sounds great too. And then kind of bring this way over here. And what I actually want to try to do here is kind of use the concept that, again, we know that this would have been an industrial area. That's kind of how we're pitching this, right? Is it has really good access to kind of the mouth of the river here. It had protection from the ocean current or any waves here. So I think this is where the city kind of would have first developed. And let's actually just go ahead and I think it'll be okay. I think all this stuff will be okay. I don't have to worry about it too much. But what I wanted to kind of do to inform how our road structure works here is actually go into our industrial spaces and say, hey, how could we potentially throw down some of these custom factories, like the industrial steel plant, or the car factory, or this electronics factory, or maybe go into our warehouses, right? I downloaded this new warehouse asset that I really like. So this is definitely something we can throw down. But looking at like how a large warehouse might look, or potentially even just a warehouse yard, right? and see what kind of block sizes would that start to create in a community. So I think let's actually take something off of here and then straighten this out kind of along this road here. Actually pull this up as well and see. Okay, so that will be a roughly 90 right there. And then see kind of like, does this feasibly fit? Like, could you potentially have had a warehouse there? You could have. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do this too. Again, like it's not, the end of the world because we are not actually going to use that warehouse there. And I'm actually apparently going to just delete a ton of stuff. But kind of take this core idea that like this community would have had this warehouse in it. And that was really kind of that was weird. It's not what I meant to do. Would have had some of these warehouses in it that kind of informed this block size here. So then we can kind of come down here and see how might that impact this road here, where we come off here, kind of just curve right into here. And then instead of having this road here, maybe we have a road that continues along here. Let's actually make this straight instead. One more time. Let's make this straight here. And we'll just bring this along here. And then say, well, what if we had, two medium warehouses that were like right here? I don't know why they're two different directions. That part I did not figure out. Let's actually get rid of those. All right, one there, and those are separated by a road. I think right here, right? There we go. And then maybe on the end, we had another two. Give ourselves like a little continuity, right? We're just kind of using this to establish what our kind of block size looks like over here. And then we can actually get rid of these because again, we're not going to use these. We're just going to put them there so that we get a sense of what this size would have had to be in this community to support this. So put something like here, and then we'll bring a road right down through here. And this road, I think we actually will connect up to our main path here. See if we can kind of thread it through here. Space is already occupied. By what? These roads can go under here, so I shouldn't be worried about that. So let's actually bring this along here. Oh, I see. It's connecting right up there. All right. So let's actually bring this straight through. And it's going to keep hitting a little bit. So maybe we just kind of go in here, just grab this, pull this back just a titch there. Now, okay, so that will fit now. Let's see if we can get a decent curve here because we kind of want to hit this at the 90 is what I'm looking for. It's going to give me a hard time on that, isn't it? Maybe come out of here at the 90 instead. All right, what if we come out there and then we do try to line this up? There we go. All right, cool. So now we do kind of get that feeling of streets that are going right through this space, right? Okay, and let's get rid of our warehouse right there. Actually, yeah, let's get rid of our warehouse right there, but we're actually going to cheat this just a little bit and bring a road right across here. Actually, here, let's go from this side. We'll go straight right along this first node here. All right, we'll pop it up just a little bit more. One more try. Okay, and then go straight into this space here. Of course, you're going to keep doing your snapping. No, can't snap to anything. No snapping. 88, so close. You want to, I can tell. All right, that's going to be close enough. Oh, I see. That's why it's mad at me. Okay. All right, we'll pull this out here. Let's actually keep this one coming all the way down. Now we do want our road snapping, of course, right? Pull this all the way down here. And connect these up. All right, we'll figure this out. Maybe we'll do a walking path here. Actually, that's already a better idea. Let's just do a nice little walking path through here. Even a bike path, maybe. We'll turn the anarchy on there. Connect those up. Cool. Okay, so now we kind of have some of these big blocks. I think this would be a fun area to just kind of throw down. Again, almost like a micro district here. You have to be a little bit careful about how we do this. But right by the train station here, what if we just have all of our buildings in this space are going to be, well, first of all, I'm not going to call it that. What do we want to kind of call this? I'm just going to call this the yard. Train yard. And in here, I think as far as policies and themes go, there's the one specific, which one am I looking for? Looking for, it's not a theme, it's not taxation. Maybe it's in services. We wanted the, oh, no, it's not. I think it's over here. I wanted to use this one. There we go. Our organic and local produce type here. So whatever we build in here is going to be organic and local produce. And then I think actually, let's also get a little bit crazy and maybe ban some cars in here. What roads does this actually capture, right? It would literally be only Morgan Street here. So let's actually go ahead and do that. And what I'm going to do is convert Morgan Street into maybe one of these pedestrian roads. Let's see what that looks like. So it becomes a lot smaller, but I think that's okay. And then we'll actually take, for some reason we lost our path there. So let's go ahead and connect that back up. And then we'll be able to run kind of these Morgan Road paths through here again. And we'll do, I think, kind of aim for 4, but like I don't strongly think it has to be 4. And actually here, let's pull that back here. Let's actually bring it down at this intersection. And then we kind of want to be able to, mimic like the individual stalls or stall spaces that someone could have at like a farmer's market. So let's actually do that. Bring that through. Then maybe pull one up like here. Pull one up like here. There we go. So now what we can do is, actually let's go back to our policies, turn off our cars. I never remember where anything is. Is that a service? Is that planning? Okay, it's planning. So we are definitely going to turn off heavy traffic, and we're going to turn off traffic at all. Old Town. There we go. That's what I wanted. So only residents and businesses can use this. All right. And so now we go in here. Let's put down some of these little guys here. Whoa, look at all that traffic. Where's that traffic coming from? Huh. How did you get here? Oh, you came from this terminal. Okay. We might have to keep an eye on that because we don't want a ton of heavy traffic coming through that space. We'll keep an eye on that. All right, so let's kind of keep plopping these here. And I think we're just looking for like interestingly shaped buildings along here. That's at least what I'm interested in. And kind of like right along the train tracks here. And you'll notice that we actually don't really have very much buildable space in that section. Let's see how our electricity is going, because what I'd like to do is have something pop up here and then reclaim this space right here. And I think we did zone that, right? We did not zone that. I see. Okay, so let's actually go ahead. And is that even in the zone? No, it's not. So let's take our zone. Let's actually push our train yard zone also right out along here. And then I think we're okay. Oh, okay. We're actually not okay because we need some water. Let's get some water to this new space along there. And I think we probably just run one main water line through there. Now we're looking okay. All right, water is fixed. We have some interesting little shops here. Hopefully this is a super walkable space and we will have no cars, which I'm really looking forward to. Can we bring this directly over the train tracks? Well, with Anarchy on, we can. Let's actually, I'm going to cheat a little bit here and use an underground cable and acknowledge that I think in this case, we would probably put an underground line underneath the train line here. So what this lets us do is pull that back and then see, is there any usable space right along here? There is. And is it in the district? It is in the district. Do we want to put anything there? I do not think that we want to as of this second. Actually, I might even go a step further and say maybe we want to actually paint a little bit of concrete here. I already don't like that. Let's just kind of sneak that back a little bit. There we go. Kind of acknowledge that this space, as more of like a rail yard type vibe, would probably be all paved over here. We're just going to go ahead and do that. At least that's what kind of like this type of market looks like near my home. If this is totally off base for you, let me know. But I kind of like that look. A lot of these are like these little shopping stalls and whatnot. If we need to kind of turn down the temperature on this small pedestrian road, we might actually have the ability to do that. Let me double check really quickly. We'll see if it actually even affects these roads. Looks like it does not. So I may have just dramatically changed the color of roads elsewhere in the city. I'm not sure yet. Oh, maybe these roads are darker. I honestly can't really tell. So, oh well, that's okay. All right, and let's decide. we'll decide if we actually like, you know what, let's actually pull that off. Let's contain this district a little bit more. I don't think it needs to cross the road here. So let's actually just kind of tighten this up here. Do that, and we will bring this district up and into this corner. Boom, there we go. Okay. And one thing we might do too here is actually cut this a little bit closer, I think, this merge here. So I'm actually going to pause this. I originally had it long that way, so you could have kind of two trains going through, but I think I'm going to like the look here a little bit better if we actually do this merge closer. Let's do it kind of right like that. There we go. And that frees up a little bit more space back here. Let's see again. How's that working right now? Okay. I am not thrilled with how much through traffic we're seeing here. We'll wait it out a little bit, but I think overall this is probably a mistake. So we'll see what happens. Let's actually go into our traffic manager too and see how this is being handled. Whoa, that should be a yield on that side. Otherwise you can go straight through here. That should be a yield there. I'm actually going to take this road in general. We want to put yields on everything connecting. This is a primary thoroughfare through here. Let's see, how long does it actually extend? Okay, good. Wow, this is a huge road. Okay, good to know. All right, so I think we mostly got through how we wanted to set up our little market area here. Let me know what you think. It'll be really interesting to see how this noise works here. Oh, that was an interesting move. Trains are just gonna do what trains are gonna do, apparently. Oh, and one more note too, as far as noise pollution goes, because that was actually a concern of mine. I actually downloaded a mod to remove noise pollution. The reason that I did this is because of what we're going to do next episode with how we're going to treat some of the space back here that will have been essentially redeveloped. But I want to acknowledge that there's kind of a fundamental disconnect in this game with how it does mixed-use housing, right? And the mixed-use housing in this game, it's almost impossible to keep residents healthy because they're so close to what's considered a commercial zone. So we're going to confront that a little bit more as we get further in the game here. Oh, looks like Amazon was dropping a lot of stuff off there. But I just kind of wanted to acknowledge that something like this happening here is really only possible because of the noise pollution being turned off. So that mod is called Pollution Solution, recommended by Yumble. Great recommendation. And we're using that here. So, all right, we are going to take a quick break here. Actually, last thing, let us bring power down to our train tracks down there. I'm actually going to keep using this underground power. Personally, to me, it actually just feels like a little more believable that in this space, you know, we may have actually paid to, connect power underneath, especially if it was more of an industrial space. We would not want those power lines everywhere, complicating things. So I am going to add power to the station. And now we should see a few passengers using it. At least there's a few cars in the parking lot. So, all right. Thank you so much, folks, for joining me. Next episode, we're going to fill out kind of our new Old Town here and talk through a little bit more about how we want to use the same kind of style of warehouse placing and factory placing, and a few factories you actually do want to keep in here. So something to keep in mind, we did need to get a few more jobs in here. So we are going to focus on residential next time and then potentially start taking a crack at a new industry. But that will be later. So thank you for joining me and I hope to catch you next time. If you've been liking this video so far, feel free to actually leave a like on the video. And if you want to see more content around Sunset Falls or you have any recommendations, feel free to subscribe or leave a comment. I do read all the comments. It's not that hard. We're still a very small channel. So I'm more than happy to take any of your thoughts into consideration as we move ahead. All right. Thanks, folks. Have a great rest of your evening or morning or afternoon, whenever you're watching this. And I'll catch you next time.